decayed and became spoiled, and then it created the smell. Kerosene smells like this, not a pleasant smell. Then there is no prohibition to daven by that smell, though it's best to refrain anyways, especially if you don't like the smell, it's not a pleasant smell, it's best to refrain, but the prohibition of davening by foul smell is when it's bathroom, that type of smell, and things that spoil. There's some of these things that spoil and they create a foul smell. You know, let it daven there. The other thing I wanted to mention was when you daven, your hands have to be clean. So, first of all, you should wash your hands before davening to start with. That's the correct thing. You wash your hands before davening. And then we're also saying that if your hands are dirty, then you're obligated to wash your hands. I'm going to explain what this means, what it means dirty. So there's two separate things. Your hands are dirty, you have to wash your hands before davening. If your hands are not dirty, to the best of your knowledge, but the proper thing is, if there's water, you should wash your hands. What does it mean dirty? Dirty doesn't just mean what we call dirty. Obviously, hands are dirty, you should wash it, yeah. But there's dirty what's halachically called dirty. And that is if you touched any part of your body that's usually covered. In our language, American society, generally, it's not called dirty. But halachically, that's called dirty. Because you touch the part of the body that's usually covered, it's considered dirty halachically, and you have to wash your hands. Or if you scratch your head, you scratch your scalp, not that you touch your hair, you scratch your scalp, then, or you stick your hair, your finger to your ear, we're not saying that's nice thing. We're not just analyzing, is this a proper thing to do in general? But let's say if someone did it, not saying you should do it. You stick your finger into your ear and you're cleaning out your ear with your finger and you're scratching inside, not just touching. According to Lochik, your hands aren't clean. You have to wash your hands before davening. Also, if you touch your shoes, what's about touching your shoes? That means the hands are dirty. Yeah, if you touch your shoes, you have to wash your hands before davening. Unless it's a new pair of shoes. A new pair of shoes, you don't have to. And even if your socks, also some opinions say it's best to wash your hands if you touch your socks. But if you touch your shoes, you have to wash your hands before davening. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can you say that last part again about like your ears?
There's two things. There's touching parts of your body that's usually covered, even though your hands are considered dirty to wash your hands. Then there is where you are scratching yourself in a way where you're actually getting yourself dirty. You don't call it dirty, like dirty, but yeah, you stick your finger inside the ear and you decide to clean out the air that way. Yeah, so it's considered halachically dirty. Now, even if it's not considered dirty in our language, meaning it's not like I didn't like, there's going inside the ear and it's cleaning out, and there's different extent of what it means. You're just scratching yourself a little bit, or you're like going, but if you're like scratching, it's hard to give an exact definition, but if you're just touching it like this, or just touching it, no. It's a part of the body that's uncovered. But if you're going a little inside and you're like scratching one side, then you're already getting into an issue, because if you scratch inside, then it's considered that your hands aren't clean. Or if you scratch your scalp, you're scratching it. Not just the hair, more on the head itself, skin. Yeah.
But if you accidentally do that, like mid davening without realizing that, you're touching the thing.
Right, it's scratching. Talking about not your hair. You're talking about scratching your scalp. So then you should wash your hands. Sure. Not an interruption to wash your hands. He said going to the bathroom is considered an interruption. He said during davening, you don't go to the bathroom. Unless you really have to, obviously, you're going to use common sense. But I'm saying, I mean, halachically, if you're able to hold it in until after davening, it says you should. On one hand, it's supposed to daven with a clean body. On the other hand, and that's supposed to take care of before that. Once you already started davening, the proper thing is you feel an urge to go is to wait till after davening. Even if it's not comfortable, obviously you have to use your logic. It's like totally ridiculous, and you can't handle it. Okay, we're talking about the chatchila. The proper thing is when it's an halacha, even if you feel you need to go and it's not so comfortable, halachically going to the bathroom is an interruption, and it says you should wait till after Ganida. Person can, you can't. Obviously, you do what you need to do. But when it's chatchila, you're supposed to take care of yourself before davening. Okay, so what are the halachos in regards to davening? We're going to discuss. And that is that if someone is davening the Amida and you're sitting next to them, you're supposed to stand up. Yeah. What does mean next to them? 6 feet around them. If you're within 6 feet around someone who's davening the Amida, you're not supposed to be sitting unless you yourself are davening. I mean davening shmiras, of course, then you're standing. Davening meaning you're saying words. You're saying words of Torah. You're saying psukim. You're saying words of Torah, word psukim, davening. Then it's okay if you're sitting. But otherwise, you're not supposed to sit around someone. If you're already sitting there before the person came, you're sitting, and then they decided to daven next to you, and it's in the house, not in shul, then you don't have to stand up. Then when that person came to your territory, it's not the place that's made for davening. It's not a shul, it's a house. So then you're okay. You can just remain sitting there.
So the shul, the opposite?
The shul, even if you're sitting, you came first, and you're sitting, you're learning, you're not verbalizing, and the person comes, stands next to you and starts davening the Amida. You cannot say, hey, I was there first. It's a place for davening. So being that they're davening, you have to stand up. Unless if you're verbalizing, if you're saying psukim, Torah, you're saying, then it's okay. But if not, even if you're looking inside and looking, you're learning with your mind, it doesn't help. You still have to stand up within 6 feet around the person.
Hey, you missed something, you'd always be standing.
99% of the people don't know this halacha. They don't. But if you're saying words, but usually people are davening. You're saying, so first davening Shemon and usually what are you doing? You're saying Shema, you're saying Ashrei. So usually you're saying words of Torah anyway. So then it's not an issue. It's only if you're not saying anything, only then you have to stand up.
And you have to be still.
Oh, 1 sec. Okay, I realized I have to clarify. I didn't clarify it enough. When I say you have to stand up, it doesn't mean, someone's davening Shemon Esrei, I need to stand and I need to stand next to them in respect. Like, no, it just means that the emphasis is that you can't sit. You can walk away. I should emphasize that point. You're not allowed to sit for 6 feet around someone who's davening Amida. That's what it is. You can walk away. It's not like you have to stand up with respect, like someone's doing. Like, no, I meant to say you have to stand as opposed to sit. You can't be sitting next to them. You can stand up and walk away and sit somewhere else. Move away 6 feet and then sit down. You do that.
So would it be like you come late to show and like they're like really in the bar. So like no one other than like none of the women are like really saying no always using the words. You're gonna go down on it and she's like go stand 6 feet away from everybody.
I mean, because people are sitting and they're
Yeah.
listening to the Torah, you're going to stand, and now it's going to cause an issue. So, are you obligated? I don't know if you're obligated to go somewhere else. It does make sense. It would be proper. It would be more proper if you're able, because people don't know the halacha. So, in a way, you're like, I don't know if it's called calling someone to transgress, causing to transgress. I don't know if it goes to that extent. But yeah, it's definitely proper if you could stand somewhere else and not stand right next to them, so you don't create a situation. share with you an interesting story with the Rebbe. So my grandfather, and that is my father's father, was not Chabad. He was a Ger Chassid. My father came from the Lubavitch because he ended up learning in the Lubavitch yeshivas, just a story for itself. But in the early years, now my father's father, my grandfather, was older than the Rebbe. And in the early years of the Rebbe, he came once to 770. He lived in the Bronx. And he'd come occasionally to visit to see my father, see how he was doing, I was learning. And the Rebbe always davened mincha upstairs. Till the later years, the Rebbe davened mincha upstairs in 770. So he came. And my father's father, his meaning was that he was down barichas. He davened for a long time. He took his davening was, he always davened for a very long time. That's how he davened. So he came into 770 upstairs. He didn't know those days. It wasn't like now. There's pictures and everything. He didn't know who the Rebbe was even. Didn't know. And he ended up, when he davened Shmones, he ended up standing in a place that was within 6 feet of the Rebbe. And the Rebbe finished Shmones as usual. When we start the repetition, then the Rebbe goes back for Kedushin. Usually the Rebbe would sit down. He was still standing Shmones, so the Rebbe continued standing. So later he didn't realize later that he was told that you stood in a place that the Rebbe felt very bad. But I'm saying so the Salocha that someone standing Shmones can't sit down. Okay, so any other I think we pretty much covered halachos of davening. And what's if you forget to daven Shmones and you miss a davening? You know what to do. So the next davening you can make up for it. Let's say you didn't daven mincha, right? So you can make up ma'ariv. You can make up for mincha by davening two Shmones ma'ariv. You're aware of that, right? So when it comes to ma'ariv, you daven ma'ariv, even though you don't usually daven ma'ariv, I assume. But if you missed mincha, you want to make up for it. So the way to make up is daven ma'ariv, and right after the Amidah for ma'ariv, you'll say another Shmones for mincha. The first one is for ma'ariv, the second one is for mincha.
We need to have that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, what then? I mean, that's the whole point. The point is having in mind as opposed to what? If he's saying we're telling you they're going to say a second Shmones for mincha, so
Because there
how could you not have it in mind? Why are you saying you have another Shmones?
The first Amida, I thought I was making up for chachas, and the second Amida, I thought it was mincha. But you're saying it's the opposite.
Opposite. Oh, so if you have in mind the wrong way, it's not, doesn't work. Yeah. That's an issue. It's probably will not count, but whatever happened. But yeah, because the point is, you missed mincha. Let's say now you're having, so you want to make up for it. So now it's time to have a ma'ariv. So what do you do now? It's time to have a ma'ariv, not mincha. Mincha is over, right? So now you're having ma'ariv. Oh, now once you're ready in the mode of davening, you're ready to ma'ariv. Come say, okay, you're in the mode. Now do another Shmones for mincha, but first you're starting with where you're up to. It's interesting. You also have a similar thing. I don't know if there's any, not real comparison, but for example, the Rebbe said regarding if someone, let's say, missed Chitas or Rambam or Tillim, the Rebbe said, what do you do? How do you make up? When do you make up? The Rebbe says first do from today, and then go back from yesterday. I'm not saying it's exactly the same idea, but it's a similar idea. It's time to have a ma'ariv. So why mincha? The idea is once you're ready in the mode of davening, you come and say, so now you do another one for mincha. Yeah.
So let's say, okay, this is a general question. I put it up five percent. Okay, let's say your dog and it's past sunset. You have until the 3 stars to sing and stuff.
Mincha has to be davened before sunset. If you did not daven, it's already sunset. So b'di'evet, if you missed it, you could daven mincha until the stars come out. You don't have them, you have to be careful, it's, you have to be, it's about, I don't know, 25 minutes, it's not so long, because even we may wait till we down night a little longer, but to give you time to make up a mincha, I don't know, it's about 25 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, about. In some countries could be different, in some, yeah, but what, was that your question?
Yeah, and then I was like, because women aren't time bound. So like,
Oh, you're asking, these will be women are in time bound, so why did that follow?
we just say.
It's not they're not time bound, and women generally are not obligated in time bound mitzvahs.
Yeah.
Davening, they are obligated because it's not specifically time bound mitzvah. Davening in general, in other words, the idea of davening, the mitzvah of davening in general is to daven whatever you need to daven to Hashem. It's not in essence a time bound mitzvah. So that's why women are obligated to daven, and then Chacham say at least Shachris or Mincha. But what the time for davening is the same for women and men. It's not. It doesn't mean that there's no time for them. No, there's no concept of time for women. There's no day. There's no day. There's no night.
I had another question, but I forgot it.
Okay.
Okay. Let's say you light Shabbos candles, but you forgot to light you forgot to daven mincha. So can you say mincha like right after you light Shabbos
Okay.
candles? And then would it be the weekday
Okay.
mincha or the Shabbos?
Okay. So you forgot to daven mincha, right? Now, and you lit Shabbos candles. And when you lit Shabbos candles, you had in mind you're going to daven mincha afterwards, or you lit Shabbos candles. They said, "Oh, I just sang Shabbos, but I didn't daven mincha." Is that your question?
Sometimes it's like both for me. Because like
Once-
I remember and I'm like, okay, maybe.
Once you accept Shabbos already, and you didn't have in mind to daven mincha, which means you accepted Shabbos fully, I don't think you could daven mincha. I would double check, but I'm almost sure that you cannot daven mincha because you already accepted Shabbos. What you do is, if you realize before you lit Shabbos candles that you didn't daven mincha, what you do is you have in mind that you're not accepting Shabbos. So you light Shabbos candles, you have in mind, I'm not accepting Shabbos yet. And now you have time to daven mincha. How much time do you have? You have 10 minutes. A little more, make me 10 to be safe. You have 10 minutes from when you light Shabbos candles until you accept Shabbos. Whenever someone lights Shabbos candles, they must accept Shabbos within 10 minutes. There's no such a thing as lighting Shabbos candles and accepting Shabbos past 10 minutes. Someone has to accept Shabbos. Theoretically, it could be the spouse. Theoretically, we're not going to all the works of lighting Shabbos candles, but theoretically, it could be the spouse, which means the woman lights candles, but she's not accepting Shabbos for whatever reason. Back then, there was examples of that situation, and the husband would accept Shabbos. There has to be an acceptance of Shabbos within 10 minutes. So if you didn't daven mincha yet, so when you light before you light candles, you have in mind, I'm not accepting Shabbos with the lighting candles right now. Like a daven mincha, and now you have 10 minutes to accept Shabbos.
Follow up to that. Let's say you're lighting candles though, it's like the very end of 18 minutes. That 10 minutes of apply.
You're lighting candles at the end of towards the end of lighting candles should be lit as soon as the time comes.
Yeah, let's say that.
But
Like, at least like, whatever. I'm just saying, like, let's say that part of those 10 minutes are after the 18 minutes. So if you cut off at the end of the 18 minutes.
no. If you're lighting candles, let's say 10 minutes after the function, and now you have 8 minutes left till sunset, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at sunset, it's automatically it's Shabbos. It's going away.
Okay.
It's good, yeah.
It's clarified.
In that case, it's 8 minutes of on.
Huh?
In that case, it's 8 minutes of on.
You have 8, yeah.
So,
Well. Yeah, right, 8 minutes, well, yeah. That's what it comes out to. For men, see, generally men, they could have a minute, even after, we have it, we discussed it already. Then on the sunset, that after, right, so it's 8 minutes, yeah, so it is, yeah.
My question is, as a woman, can we daven chakras basically until like mincha time, or is it better like after chatzos to just do that thing when you wake up and chakras by davening?
Again, you just repeat that. You say,
As a woman,
yeah,
if I don't daven chakras by chatzos, can I still daven because I'm a woman? Can I still daven chakras after chatzos? Because I heard you can daven it basically till sunset, or is it better after chatzos to daven?
halachically, I can only answer what it says in halacha. You know, people do it, and no one really knows what the source is. And if you ask, there's no, if you look anywhere in halacha, you can't find a source for it. People do it, they say you can do it, but halacha doesn't say that. And it is a challenge for many people in that situation, because you don't want to feel like you missed out. It comes with it, you feel like you missed chakras. It's not a good feeling. So generally, people seem to just justify it and whatever they daven. There's no source for it. There's nothing I could say halachically. Yeah, it's okay for a woman. That's what we said before. People aren't under the pressure because women aren't time bound, so they could daven after midday also. There's no such a source in halacha.
So in that case, it's better to daven.
Daven for twice, yeah. Excuse me one moment.
Here's my question, basically. Huh? Okay, basically, for mincha, like, if I'm trying to wait for sunset. Like, isn't there like a specific point, isn't like starting the Amida technically like the point, and you can start mincha, there's like, you can start like.
When my
if
dad
you
and I
start,
we'll start singing Ashrei on the wall, which has no halachic basis, but it's fun.
I think it's like as soon as you step into Shemona Esrei, that's officially when you're allowed to go over that time limit or something. If you wanna say it until like at sunset. But it's a minute before sunset. If you say
Just don't
Osprey,
look
wake up
at the
and get into
sky.
Shemona Esrei.
It's not one second, I went to ask my rabbi, he's like, do you really know at what point it's sunset? I was like, no, I
Yeah,
have to
my-
like look at the time, he's like, look at the time after you got into that's right and say, oh no. I was like, I don't think that's, I don't know what to do.
That's.
It's
You're
in a situation where you're like,
like.
either you're gonna, so then you're gonna have to say two Martins, because it's a minute, like then.
What's he saying?
You could say.
Well, no, because you could go until Shkia,
You say that you could say the second,
so, you wouldn't get any point in the dollar.
no,
Like,
it's right
right
after,
when
like,
you
you know, if you forget, yeah, love Yavo,
Yeah.
you then are like, oh, no, and then you say another 20 hours,
Right.
So like you're davening, then you say 20 hours.
But what if you're davening more about like 9 p.m., so you could
You
still.
make the shaya.
So now you daven the
But-
second.
You're gonna make it up in mincha. You're gonna go into mincha, you're gonna say Osprey.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna go with Shemona Esrei.
Yeah.
mincha.
No, I
Then
thought,
another.
she was the one.
Then I'll
who
let
did
him.
Yeah.
Cause I used to think that's like say the entire thing.
that. No, I wasn't. How.
Say
much of it
Ashrei
was
twice, say
Yeah.
Hallelujah
Like,
twice.
let's say you're davening more, like, let's say like you're davening more really late, like not right after you're like down, so you happen to davening like 9.
For Marv, it's not an issue.
Your mom is not an issue, I know, but then you're saying.
Like chakras would be.
There are, no, she's asking.
Yeah. Okay, we have another question?
Yeah, okay, so is there a point? Let's say it's coming to sunset. And it's like 2 minutes before. Is there a point in Mincha where like? You,
You're talking about in
Yeah,
general?
yeah.
Not talking about Shabbos.
no, where you just need to get to in Mincha, like you need to start Shemona Esrei in order to be like, go past sunset. Something.
If it's in general, if you're not talking about tomorrow, if it was Shabbos, in general, during the week. In general, if someone did not daven mincha before sunset, they could daven after sunset anyways. So you're asking if there's 2 minutes left before sunset, could you start, you could.
Then maybe it's past, I don't know, I just heard that like. in
Whenever
order
the
to be,
last
like,
time is.
Yeah, the last time, or like you need to be in Shemona Esrei, to go past that level.
It says in regards to Chatzos, if you start before midday, that's what I remember seeing, that it's considered okay because you started before midday. But in any case, if you did not daven before Shkia Mincha, you could daven after sunset anyways. So
Let's say
it's
it's right
irrelevant. You
before
have to.
Shkia.
You're starting as soon as you could. What's the relevance if it's 2 minutes left to Shkia? Just start right away, right?
What
Makes
if
sense.
3 stars come six?
Say
What if
Sukkot.
it's 3 minutes for 6?
It's a different question. Then you have to think. You have to know the calendar, know exactly when it says. Yeah, okay.
Then not.
It's more complicated. That's not can
They
answer on
should
one
be-
foot. You know exactly if it's close, right?
You
So if-
daven in the-
Right, so if it's still within the right amount of time, because between sunset until the stars come out, you could daven it. But if you're starting in that time, it should be okay. You have to make sure you're in that time. Because there's different times for when the stars come out. So some people wait longer, but some hold that Seis is earlier. There's different opinions when it Seis.
But if you daven more, like much later, let's say, I don't know, 9:30, 10 p.m., but you missed mitzvah during the day, you can still say down either right after. Like you can say 2 meters in a row, even if you're davening more really late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's all different. It's not, we didn't mention anything about davening right away when it comes to time. It's about whenever you're davening minded, you can make up a mincha. Sure.
So why is it that, I don't know if it's relevant just to women or everyone who misses it, but like after if you daven it after Shema time, but before Chatzos, why can you still say all the brachos in Shema?
You could
And
say,
not be in vain? Because it's not technically like the mitzvah anymore because you missed the time, like,
oh, how could you say Brichas Krishma if it's past the time of Shema?
yeah.
Chacham put different halachas for the brachas of Shema. Really called the exact reason, but it's brought down that it's different. It's Brichas Krishma. It's
Like, what is that? Like the morning brachas?
yes. And what's the reason why you could say Brichas Krishma after the time of Shema? So I don't have an answer on the spot. There's sure there's explanation somewhere. Look into it and give the exact reason. Good question. But clearly that's a halachas that you could. Yeah.
I thought you mentioned yesterday, so long, like, even after my Shema. But you
Yeah,
still-
but she's
like,
asking why. What's the logic? Logic is to come established in a certain way. I mean, Brichas Krishma is rabbinic. Shema's Minatir. Chacham established the blessings of Shema. So the Chacham established the blessings the way they established it, according to the way they decided to establish it. And it's not a strong question. I mean, it's a good question. Like, what's the logic? But the simple understanding is it's rabbinic. This way Chacham established it. You say brachas before Shema, and they didn't put a time limit on the brachas of Shema. But it needs more explanation. Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah. Hmm?
This kind of leads to the washing hands, so I kind of missed it, so I'm sorry if you're looking or repeat answers. But I had heard, again, I didn't see it inside, so that's why I'm asking, but I had heard that like washing your hands, like all the time after like the bathroom and whatever is a humrah, and as long as your hands are actually clean, like you wash them with soap and water, then it's okay.
You're talking about the bathroom.
Yeah,
Okay. So there's two things. There's davening. There's a mitzvah to wash your hands before davening. In general, even if your hands are clean, there's a mitzvah. It's not an obligation. It's a proper thing to wash your hands before davening. You have water around. Washing, huh?
Like with, you know, like a cup?
Not necessarily. It ever did, but not 6 times. But according to law, it doesn't have to be a cup. It could be just like that.
like just with water.
Yeah. Now, that's davening. Now, after the bathroom, do you have to wash your hands? Well, halachically, You saying you heard you don't have to wash your hands at all after the bathroom?
Not with a cup.
Oh, it's like, yeah, after the bathroom, you don't have to wash your cup. There are those who use a cup. It's a good thing to do. A lot of people do it. It's a good idea. Some people say it's more proper to do with a cup, but you don't have to do with a cup after the bathroom. I thought you were asking, was that your question or something else? You have to wash in general, in the bathroom, out of the bathroom?
So you were saying like, well, I went to go fill up my water, you were talking about how like if you touch your shoes, touch the inside of the ear, touch your scalp, like those are times when you do have to wash. with a
Yeah.
cup.
Then, no, not with a cup, this is a
Just
cup.
wash your hand.
Then you have to wash your hands. If you want to say words of Torah, if you're going to daven.
You wash your hands to get them wet with soap. Is what you would run them on the water.
Yeah, just like that, yeah.
And outside of a bathroom or inside?
Say something else. Okay, we can discuss that, but let's first clarify this.
It's like the biggest thing a lot of us are confused about. Like,
Right,
yeah, a lot of us heard different information about that. Unfortunately.
we'll get to that soon. Yeah, you want to ask him?
Yeah, I was gonna say, or just can you clarify this when I first, because you touch your scalp, you don't necessarily have to wash, you can just like you wipe it.
I said, that's not about touching, it's about scratching.
Oh.
Going like this, you have to wash your hands, or I'm just putting my hand in my head.
No, exactly.
Don't mind if you're going on, you're like scratching with your nails and you're like scratching into your scalp, because, it's itching and you're scratching yourself. That's when I said you have to wash your hands,
Yeah,
right?
but I've heard that sometimes you can like get around that by like wiping your hands fully on them.
Okay, so it's one of the things on my mind there's a difference between davening and saying words of Torah, like learning. So if it's for learning, saying words of Torah, tehillim, whatever, then it's not for the Amidah, then you don't necessarily have to use water, even though these days it's no big deal, but back then it was a big issue. You need water, it doesn't have to be water, it could be this either of those days, but it could be like this. Clean, you rubbed it off. Not for davening. Davening, when I say davening, I mean amida, because davening is a general word. So davening, I mean tefillah, referring to the amida now. When it comes to amida, that's where you need to have water. But otherwise, you could use other things. You rub it against something, different things. You could just cleans it off.
So if you're not washing for bread or for nagelwasser in the morning, and like for morning brachas, when are you required to wash your hands with a cup purity?
Okay. You should be washing with a cup, and cup means 6 times back and forth for after a shower, after you cut your nails, or you cut someone else's nails. After you take a haircut, you give someone else a haircut. That's when you do negovas, you do 6 times back and forth. Bathroom, there are those that do it. It's a good thing to do.
Why is it a good thing to do?
What's the source? It's brought down in Svarim.
Is it just like a chumrah?
Yeah, you want to call it a chumrah? Yeah, you call it a chumrah. Yeah, it's not halachically obligatory, but it's a good thing to do.
Okay.
If you're able to, lineda, you do it. So it's not when you're able to. I mean, sometimes you're in rest areas and it's difficult. But if you're able to do it, it's a good thing to do. But you don't have to. And yeah, everything else, you just wash your hands without a kelim. Yeah.
And all of those instances are outside of the bathroom.
Oh, so now the question is, what about inside or outside? So it's brought down in the bathroom, there's a ruach hatum, the spirit of impurity. So therefore, it is best not to wash inside the bathroom. It's better to wash outside the bathroom. Not always it's possible. Sometimes there's nothing, we go to rest areas or places and there is no water outside the bathroom or inside the bathroom. Then you wash inside the bathroom. And ashiyot, so you say outside the bathroom. If you're able to take the water with you while it's wet, and rub it outside and dry it outside the bathroom, that might be a little better. These, you see, the issue is that many people are means also because the bathrooms these days are not like the bathrooms those days. You know what I'm saying? These days we have plumbing. Then they're not plumbing, it was a different type of bathroom. So many people say these days there's no real spirit of impurity, it's not necessarily, it's debatable, it's not black and white, and then this has an effect on many different halachas regarding many different things. So let's say if you're in a place and you want to wash for bread, there's no water. Yeah, there's water inside the bathroom. So what do? You have a washing cup, you go into the bathroom, you wash, and then you come outside the bathroom, and then don't dry it inside. Then for sure you shouldn't dry in the bathroom. I said about using the bathroom, you shouldn't, but that's for sure. You don't dry in the bathroom. You come out of the bathroom, and then you say the bracha, and then you rub yourself. You rub your hands together, like you always do, right? When you sound so you say a bracha, and then you rub your hands. And that's what you should do, right? After you wash your hands, without going into all the details, there's more details involved. We're covering so many things at the same time. But this is what you do. You wash your hands 3 times, and then you say the bracha, and then you rub your hands. It's like this, the bracha, in general, you say a bracha has to be done. In general, every bracha that you do on a mitzvah has to be before you do the mitzvah. There are exceptions to the rule, but generally that's how it is. So you're saying a bracha for washing your hands. Ideally, you should say a bracha then wash your hands, but we can't have that set up because sometimes your hands, because obviously your hands are dirty. So many times it could be dirty. So it doesn't make any sense to say a bracha before you wash your hands. You want your hands to be clean. So your hands are clean, then you say the bracha, right? But you want to say the bracha, you're following, or it's too much? Yeah. In other words, you want to, in simple words, the idea of generally a bracha is done before you do a mitzvah. In the case of saying a bracha washing your hands, it's not established this way because many times your hands are dirty. That's why you're washing your hands. So you're going to say a bracha before you wash your hands when your hands are dirty. So we say wash your hands and then say the bracha. But we still want, this idea of saying a bracha before you wash your hands, we still want to have. Yeah, but how can you have it? You already washed your hands. Because one of the ways how you clean your hands is also by rubbing it together. So after you wash your hands, you say a bracha and then you rub it together. Rubbing your hands is also part of the cleaning. So you wash your hands, talking about in general. You wash your hands, you say a bracha, then you rub it together. Now you did it in the bathroom. So you wash your hands in the bathroom, you come out of the bathroom, you say the bracha, and then you rub your hands together.
But that's only if you're, like, you don't normally say you're saying about Diane?
We're talking about when you're washing for bread now.
Oh,
Said in general, if you're using the bathroom, you see in general, when you're using the bathroom, the difference is usually you have bottled water with you. So if you're going to stopping by a rest area, you're going to wash your hands properly there because there's soap, there's water, warm water, you can really wash your hands properly. But then for the idea of not washing in a bathroom, if you have some bottled water, so use that water outside. But when you're washing for bread, you could. Now, the better way is if you're able to take water out of the bathroom and then do the whole thing outside, if you could. It's not always so easy. So if you can't do the whole thing outside, you wash inside, and then you come out with your hands, and while it's still wet, and you say the bracha until it's yadayim, and then you rub it together. Got it?
yeah. But isn't there a whole thing with the cup that you're using and the water bottle because it's thinner at the top, it's not actually good. And then also
How is that coming in now?
a water bottle.
When you're washing inside the bathroom for bread, you have a wash basin. You have a cup. You have a washing cup, right?
I mean, if you're at a rest stop, not necessarily.
So when you travel, make sure you have a washing cup with you.
Yeah.
I always
Even regular cup.
keep a washing cup in my car at the back, like a small, not the big one, but the smaller ones.
And also people are really particular about your Negel, let's say you're filling up your Negel buster, cannot get from the sink in the bathroom.
The same,
get from the sink
so it's the
downstairs.
same idea, because it's a place of impurity, so exactly, so there's levels, right, so there's one, there's better, better, and better. Obviously, if you can avoid taking from the bathroom, it's even better. But it's still better to take from the bathroom and wash outside the bathroom than washing from the bathroom in the bathroom. So there's stages over here. It's all about what you're able to, what you're able to apply.
Really, another halacha teacher taught us that you have to take the Negel Wasser in the morning, you cannot take it from the bathroom.
Saying the same thing. I'm saying you should not. I'm not. What am I saying different?
Like you're, okay, if you go.
I'm
to the
saying you
bathroom-
should not, I'm also saying you shouldn't take water from the bathroom. But if that's what you have, that's what's available, then that's what's available. It's not like it's out of the question. It's not like it doesn't work. It's like, it doesn't count at all. That's not the way you should do it. Usually there are other sinks outside the bathroom. Usually. But if there's no choice, like you want to wash hands with bread and there's no other water, there's no whatever, you can't. I mean, theoretically you could take water with you, you could prepare everything in advance, but if, let's say that's what it is, then it's okay.
If I have a water bottle, is it better, like I have a water bottle, I mean, a cup, is it better to fill up the water bottle in the bathroom and then pour it into the cup outside of the bathroom? Or it doesn't?
As
doesn't make
opposed
no
to
difference,
what?
Filling up the cup in the bathroom and still washing it.
What's-
Meaning,
Why is it, what's the
I don't
difference?
know, is there,
Okay,
why can't you use the water?
okay, I want to repeat this because maybe I missed something. You're saying one thing, fill up the wa-
It's just another
Fill-
step removed from the bathroom.
Instead of filling up the washing cup and thing out, you're filling up a water bottle, and then taking the water bottle out of the bathroom and then filling up,
The cup,
what's the difference?
I don't know, it's another step removed from the bathroom.
Because you're transferring the water into
Yeah,
another cup. No, that's not, no. That's not gonna, okay, no, it's good question. I'm saying it's not gonna make a difference. It's not, I mean, because you're transferring over, it wasn't in the vessel and that doesn't bring such, it does no splitting, because the water was already in the bathroom. So whatever status it has, you want to say it does have impurity, it doesn't have, whatever it is, transferring over doesn't change anything. The only thing that may be a little different is if there was a stack of water bottles in the bathroom that are sealed, and you take it out of the bathroom as opposed to water that was uncovered in the bathroom. So that water that was sealed sitting in the bathroom for whatever reason is preferable. That you could say.
Okay. Gotta be interesting, but basically, in the door, we have 4 stalls and then the sink. You need to make sure that all the doors are completely shut before filling it up, or like just washing your hands, or like, does the spirit come out, or like crack, like. You know,
You know, it's hard, I don't know, it's like a separate room, with like the stalls, and then there's the sink,
yeah,
right?
but then there's like another door, so
They
they're
are
all
And
separate.
the doors are proper doors,
Yeah.
like over here,
Yeah.
Well,
like full
like,
doors,
like,
Yeah.
top to
Proper,
bottom, full.
They're proper.
Yeah.
Floor to ceiling.
Yeah.
So it's like a separate room.
but you should make sure all the doors are shut completely before.
Why? But it's a separate room.
I'm saying like a lot of the doors are always.
Is
left
there a
open.
door between the
Okay,
stalls and the
let's
sink?
talk about it here, so it'll be easier to make sure I understand correctly. This bathroom's right there, right?
Yeah,
Right, imagine there's a sink right opposite the bathroom. And you go into the sink filling up water and the door is open.
yeah,
Is that the same type of question? You're asking?
yeah,
The door is open, so what? It's a separate reshus, a separate domain.
great.
It's hard.
That would
to
be
keep bathroom
crazy, trying to like open all of the doors to make sure.
I'm
Right, that's what I
gonna
meant.
make almost you,
It's a
but first I
separate-
close all the doors to the bathroom.
It's a separate reshus,
Okay,
a
great,
separate domain.
perfect,
Yeah, it's a nobody brought up the use filter.
thank you,
Oh,
Robbie.
and Robin looked at me, he's like, yeah, you put, that night, all the plumbing went out and the only water we actually had was seltzer.
That's so funny.
That's so HP.
And we were like, it's
Wow, that's so funny.
Good, that was fun.
Thank you. It was like, we got crazy anything missing.